Hello, hello, hello. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know if you can hear me all right. Looks like it's coming through okay. Looks like you can hear me. Just let me know. Give me an idea if the sound is good. Hold on, moving a couple things around. Go right there. Let's do that. All right, looks like it's good. So, man, talk about a hot CPI number today. Yeah, coming at 1.3 and then zero point 0.7. I kind of expected the CPI one to be a bit high. I actually am pretty shocked that the core came in as high as it did. I was expecting it probably to stay at that point 0.6 level, not actually drop down like they thought it was. But the fact that it's coming at the point 0.7, I mean, that was one of those things that Bernard in particular was looking at, saying that all core is what matters. It's good. Um, yeah, quite a hot reading. Um, what that means for the markets, I think at this point it probably solidifies that point 0.75 coming in. Um, Originally, that was the one that they were kind of looking at, and you know, Bostic was like, "Yeah, I could be swayed for the point 0.75. That could be a thing for me." And I mean, at this point, it shows that their policy has just been completely ineffectual, or ineffective. I guess is the right word for it. It goes back to kind of the talk and what we mentioned in January. Like, listen, you need to go in high. Everybody thought Blue Arbor was insane with one. We're seeing the labor market pull back a little bit, but inflation is not slowing down. It's actually accelerating. And what's interesting about this, and again, I think it needs to be talked about a bit more, is the fact that the core is expanding. And remember, the core, when you click on that one, it's excluding food and energy. And we know that a lot of the inflation out there, again, supposedly it's all Putin's fault. But right now, what we're seeing is gas prices come down. I can tell you gas prices here are 70 cents cheaper than they were a month ago, right? Maybe not 70, but 50-ish, right? They're definitely much, much lower. But what we're seeing is we're seeing inflationary prices expand. It's going farther out, right? The reach is getting much, much higher, which again shows that the Fed's policy not working whatsoever. Um, a month, 2 months ago was, we're looking for a soft landing. We want to do everything we can to, not harm the economy. We're starting to see good signs of, the labor market slowing down. Well, the labor market's starting to slow down, but inflation is not. So yeah, I mean, not in gas, but it's expanding. So yeah, I feel bad for my mortgage broker friends out there. I know a lot of people that got into mortgages. I was like, wow, you could have got into the worst time. And now I'm kind of thinking, with current rates where they are, have the current rates factored in a 0.75 raise next time? And if not, what do mortgage rates look like? There was a very interesting article. I guess it was yesterday that we talked about the yield curve. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it's yesterday. Basically, talking about the yield curve, we haven't seen this since 2007, and we all know what happened during that time frame. Now, again, a little bit different scenario, right? People were, if you got a heartbeat, here's a mortgage, right? So we're not in that range, but we know that they're going to keep raising interest rates. We know it's going to get more and more expensive, and if the demand is not there to buy houses, because again, going into a recession where you could potentially lose your job, no one's buying a new house, right? Renting is much more, kind of a thing. Paying 7%, right? Paying 7% for something that you could have had for three, less than a year ago. Also, one of those things that kind of is like, yeah. So, yeah, kind of rough. And then at the same time, yesterday we made fun of Biden talking about how, the United States is the factory of the world, which again, I'm not exactly sure what was in his pudding yesterday or whatever, but definitely China produces everything. And if you don't believe me, again, look at this. China exports rose 17.9% in June from a year ago, beating analyst expectations, but yet their imports only grew 1%. We saw this before they were locking down the ports and things. And remember, this is why Trump originally kind of started I don't want to say trade war, but like tariff war with China, because it's like, listen, you've agreed to purchase things from us. We are meeting our obligation in our trade agreements. You are not. So we're going to start taxing your goods at a higher rate, you know, to start, lowering these things to get it back in order. And, basically now that it is switched, and again, all the talk now is that we're going to remove all the tariffs. It'll make things better. It'll lower our inflation. Well, nothing you're doing is lowering inflation. And you can see China is expanding in the way that they want, and they're still not bringing any imports in. So they're not meeting their trade obligations, and they're getting away with it. Um, and they're going to be allowed to get away with it. So again, it's one of those things that this number is like really telling about where we're going. And I love things like this. Like Yellen's like, yep, we've discussed Russian oil price caps with Chinese counterpart. Do you think China cares? Right? Like this one. So they're set to meet with the Indian finance minister at the G20 gathering, right? They're trying to see global support to put a cap on Russian oil. I'll tell you right now, China is not our friend, right? It's nice that Yellen says, yeah, China, absolutely. Like, we have tried to tariff them, they don't care, right? Climate change, they don't care. If they can get oil cheaper than the United States, right? Because again, they have, I mean, they're if Russian oil is bad, but if they're able to get Russian oil cheaper, China is not dumb. They will absolutely cut a back end deal with Russia, and Russia's not stupid either, right? They are not going to allies with us. There is no way. Not they. Yeah. So I think it's great that Yellen thinks this is awesome. Like, yeah, we're gonna cap it. We're gonna stick it to Russia. It's like that's their closest ally. They've just cut huge grain contracts to purchase from Russia. They are gonna do nothing that would jeopardize anything or even hurt Russia. But the fact that she thinks that that is true is unbelievable. And meanwhile, we're coming in with numbers like this. We're gonna raise our interest rates. We're gonna cause a housing crash. Yeah. So that's what we're getting into. Again, yeah, it's going to get crazy. Now, at 10 o'clock today, in 20 minutes, CAD expected to raise 0.75. I can tell you right now, one of Melissa's friends is in the process of, she sold her last place, and their mortgages don't start until you obviously move into the new place. She's like, I don't know if I can afford my new place, right? She's like, the rates have gone up so much, the mortgage payment has changed so much. I don't know if I can afford my new place. But she's already sold her last place, so there's not much she can do about it. She's already closed. She's allowed to stay till September, but it's like, yeah. So now people are looking at this being like, hey, you know what? The old rate I could afford. The new rate, because it's jumped so much, I don't know if I can afford that. It's starting to push through. I mean, she's got a good job. She makes great money, but, this is becoming a real problem. And then later on tonight, we got some data out of the Aussie. So a lot of stuff going on today. I will say a lot of the movement has already occurred. When you looked at the pre-news move, if you look at the European session, right? The dollar went straight down. Magically, for a super, super hot number to spike straight up in the air. So, I mean, they couldn't have telegraphed that people knew what the data was ahead of time anymore today. So it was kind of one of those ones that was a little bit more of an easier grab. Obviously, I'm not going to go back in time and try to pull all Nadex prices for it, but yeah, it was one of those ones where we talked yesterday about look for dollar strength to come in strong, even to come in as expected. It shows you that hey, listen, inflation is not decreasing. Yeah, yeah. So easy grabs. Hopefully, you guys were all able to get some out of that. Tomorrow morning, not that there's not enough already today, but tomorrow morning we go with PPI, right? So we're going with another inflationary gauge, and the question is, are they going to change the adjustments on this one, and will PPI go higher too? I mean, imagine if PPI comes in at 1. I mean, they're going to be asking for heads at this point of the Fed. It's like, what are you guys doing, right? Um, it's crazy. So I mean, yeah, it could be big, and then unemployment claims. I mean, what happens tomorrow morning if we come in with a 1% here, a 0.6 here, and then unemployment claims goes up to a 150 or a 175? Right? Shows you that the job market is they're already starting to pull it back in preparation for a recession, but yet inflation is continuing to increase, and the prices are continuing to increase for people. What the heck is going? I mean, there's some craziness. And then tomorrow we see obviously GDP numbers and retail sales for China. So again, early morning news tomorrow. There's a lot going on, a lot of movement. Now the currency market, looking at it though, you're seeing. You may look at this and say, wait a second, why is this not moving at all? Right? We just had huge numbers. We're about to have a raise because a lot of it's baked in, a lot of it's already forecasted there. And again, the movement happened. The whipsaws were back and forth, playing off of that kind of emotional response to things. And again, yeah, it's a big number for the US, but Canada's about to raise 0.75. So it's that strong, strong type scenario there. And again, it's not like normal markets, right? It is not a normal day. I mean, Aussie dollar, 0 in 24 hours. monstrous CPI data and zero. Again, a lot of this was forecasted. A lot of the people expected this. That's why you're not seeing these monstrous moves here. It's not that moves are not happening. It's just that again, things are whipping up, whipping back down again. It's really taking a lot of the uneducated out of the market. And even the, I mean, look at this. I mean, the biggest mover is the dollar yen, dollar Swiss, nothing. Nothing. Euro pound, again, a little dollar strength coming in. Pound yen, 78, 17 versus the dollar over here, minus 33. I mean, we did touch parity, but it literally spiked down, touch parity, and pop right back up again. You'll see that here that the U.S. officially hits parity for the first time since December 2022. And again, when I say briefly, it popped down, right? Popped down and then immediately came back up again. But we knew that I mean, again, we'd already known the last time we hit it. We hit parity. We didn't break it. They are talking about breaking it. We knew the same response, right? We knew what was going to happen when we had sellers coming in this area. It's a huge psychological level, and again, that's why we see the spike over here. But I mean, again, it will push through that. It will go lower. This was, this news is huge, right? Huge. Sorry, I got called away when I typed that. It's no problem, Nero. It's no problem. So, yeah. So that's the morning, kind of in a nutshell. I'm I'm kind of sitting there, that the meme with Michael Jackson in the movie theater eating the popcorn. I think that originally came from Thriller. That's kind of how I'm looking at today to see kind of what they're going to say. I mean, like I said, dumbest comment of the year is the U.S. is the factory of the world, not China. Again, not exactly sure in what realm. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is like a Marvel multiverse. Um, Not exactly sure how he's trying to warp that one, right? I'm really curious to see what comments come out today. Looking at this, talking about how such a great job that the Fed is doing controlling inflation, and that's the number one thing. Again, there are elections later this year. Looking at this, it's what genius thought the US. Oh, you didn't? Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, looking at Neuro, there was the post yesterday about um, yeah, that was Biden. Right? The U.S. is the factory of the world, not China. And I was like, what? Yeah. Um, Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe he means like a specific segment. I don't even. That's what I'm trying to. I'm asking for help, right? I mean, it's not in textiles. It's absolutely not in textiles. It's not in a majority of like the goods and services. We know it's not really like. I mean, I guess that would be more the farm, not the factory. I'm trying to think as far as an industry goes, like where things are being built. I don't know. Maybe he's thinking. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what percent. I mean, I don't. Autos may. I mean, a lot of there are a lot of autos are produced here, but I don't think that they're building them here and shipping other places. They're built and consumed here. Like I don't know. It's not the things that Biden says it does that get on my nerve. It's a huge level of support he still has with the old school Carter Democrats. Yeah. I mean, like I said, you make a comment like that. China's obviously advancing. I think it's great that they're trying to create back end deals to kind of solidify things, but none of like again. I mean, even CNBC's talking about, hey, listen, it's going to be hotter than expected, right? So we're watching things go down, right? It's like hell in a handbasket, but nothing is being done and nothing is changing. And we're trying to go back to the old ways of things and it's just getting worse. And yeah, I mean, I'm most interested right now. This is like my number one question. It's not even like world peace or like how to cure COVID. If they raise 0.75, what does the next jump in interest rates look like? And what happens next, right? I think it has to be a 0.75. And in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw maybe a 0.75 or a point 0.5 in after that. Like, has this data point, and again, it is only one data point. So, I mean, you got to take that into consideration. Remember, the projections were that we would be up to 3.5 by the end of the year, right? If we go 0.75 now and then another 0.75, are we blowing those targets up, Um, Yeah, Ernest, absolutely. It is the absolute arrogance, but in the world that we're in right now, I mean, you got to kind of ask that question. And it's the same thing. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. Did you guys see the Michael Phelps snub, right? Four-time Olympian, more medals than everybody else, you know, and he gets snubbed for an award. Not that I have anything against Simone Biles. I am in the center camp that listen, if you represent the United States and you have mental health issues, you should back out before you get there so the alternate can go. Um, I do believe that if you are a professional, you have a job to do. I don't think that, again, if you knew that you were struggling with mental health before you got to the Olympic Games, I felt like the right thing you should do is remove yourself because you are, again, you have made a commitment. You have to follow through in your commitment. Um, but again, I think she's a great athlete. I'm not taking anything away from her. But the fact that you have somebody like Michael Phelps that was completely snubbed in the award after, and again, he talked about his depression. Dude's legit, probably one of the greatest swimmers of all time. And again, 28 medals at the Olympics, more than anybody. 4 different Olympics he attended and was dominant in all of them, both team and personal, and gets snubbed for an award because she backed out for mental health reasons. I just don't get it. And like I said, not taking anything from her. I'm not saying that she didn't deserve the award. I think it's great on that spec. Again, I think she's definitely an athlete. I don't agree with her backing out. Like I said, you know, I think a lot of these athletes that say, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to compete in this event." Like same thing. Like Tiger says, "Listen, my back is not up to where it should be. I'm not going to represent my sponsors in this event." I think that's the right thing to do. I totally agree that her mental health is important. 100% on board with that one. But if you said, "Yep, I'm here. I'm going. I'm doing this," you need to do it. And if you knew that it was that big of an issue, you should have done the right thing and backed out because there was somebody that didn't go because she did that was denied the opportunity to represent her country that had trained and prepared her entire life. And, it's not fair to that person either. So, yeah, somebody had weed issues. I mean, the president, there was a president that's on the Democratic side that was like, I smoke pot, but I didn't inhale. Yeah, right. Who's not inhaling when they're smoking weed? Come on, seriously, right? Come on. That's not an issue. It's going to be legalized pretty soon, right? So, and no, and it's like he talked about his depression and everything else, and the immense amount of pressure being Michael Phelps. Um, but yeah, so and he's whatever. But yeah, a guy like that can be that decorated of an athlete, and again talked about his depression and again why he went to weed and stuff like that. Has a foundation to help other people, and was like huge supporter in the community. Again, especially in the Baltimore region as well, and completely snubbed. Again, not trying to take it away from her. I'm not this cancel culture, but again, I don't know how you snub an athlete that is that big, on the Olympic spectrum, and again, has done what he does. It's just insane. But anyway, yeah. So CAD's going to get nuts today. Unemployment. Again, I can't wait to see what it looks like for Aussie, and I'm most interested in the unemployment rate. I'm thinking maybe 3.75 on that one, so I think there'll be some decent movement on it. All right, so let's start off with a dollar. I think we have to. I News is right here. I mean, I really can't say that they didn't telegraph this any more possible. I mean, literally, it drove from. I mean, here. Tell me that the markets are not fixed, right? There's the 3 o'clock candle. So there's when the Europeans stepped into the market. This is the dollar, just so everybody's on the same page. Straight down in time for the news, and then launched itself almost the dollar up, right? Just unbelievable, right? I mean, it's almost like they knew, right? When you want to buy something, you want it on sale. They literally put it on sale, drove the price down just to get in for news time, just to get an enormous pop, and now they're selling everything. It's like suckers, and they're selling it all. Um, Even on weekends. Ernest, you got snubbed yesterday because again, unless you play the game, you can't win. It was Debbie and Eki yesterday, right? It's like the lottery. If you don't play, you can't win, right? Same thing. Same thing. I was super proud of Debbie logging in on the phone. But yeah, so talk about completely manipulated. Yeah, absolutely. Look at this right here. And the thing is, inflation's going crazy. Oil's at $96.50. So it's really, really hard to talk about the fact that, oh, it's all being driven by Putin and oil. No, 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 no. The reason oil is down at $96 is not because they're talking about capping oil. It's because everybody's looking at how bad this recession is going to be, and the demand is going to be so much lower. So, we're releasing stuff from the Strategic Oil Reserve. What was the response? 120. Nobody cares. Let's cap Russian oil. Nothing. Hey, our inflation's high. We're going to raise 0.75. We need to go into a recession. $96. So, yeah, craziness. And again, all the indices right now are like, this is not good for us. Not good. I'm actually surprised the Russell's not lower, right? So let's dive over. And again, all these are, again, we talked about getting up there for news yesterday. We're like, oh man, if we can be up in this 67.82 for news, this is awesome. And we did. I mean, literally right here. Look at this. You want to talk about where things are coming to? There's your 23.6, right? Right there is your 7:30, 8:30 window right here. And again, we talked about this. We said, listen, if we can maintain and hold and get up in there, that's exactly where we're going. Are you getting short a position at 6:30 an hour before CPI? No, no, you're waiting for the news, right? See what it does. See if you can get a good entry on it. I mean, it did technically. I guess it did go up into here. So you could have said, "Oh, look at it, grab that one." But we talked about getting short. We already knew we were looking to get short, and look at it. It drove it all the way back down to the other level before bouncing right off the original spot. So again, great level in the Aussie. That's what exactly we were looking for. We talked about the 23.6 that level, positioning yourself pre-news move, and talk about a monstrous move off of that one to the downside. I mean, that is 75 pips instantaneously from that news, right? And again, if you need an established level of risk, sure, we're sitting right there. And there's your 8 o'clock candle. We went right back up, grabbed the level of basing just above the 23.6. Bam, right to the downside. So right now, I would say you're probably going to see some fluctuation back and forth. Again, overall, it should kind of push it down, but again, it is kind of the gold factor is coming into it. Gold is up just slightly, right? It's hovering around that 1725 ish level. Again, there's going to be a ton of profit taking in this one. People are like, well, it's going to go lower, right? Maybe, and people are waiting for the pullback, and they're going to start selling it. So it probably will come down. I don't know that we're going to get another 100 pips to the downside really until we start hearing the news headlines. And what do I mean by news headlines? Bullard making comments about, hey, listen, with that data, I think that a 1.0 needs to be on the table, and maybe somebody else talking about 0.75. And Powell saying inflation is continuing to move, and we're going to be aggressive to get in front of this because they has to at this point, right? I don't know. Biden could even make a comment about, listen, the Fed needs to really, they need to start doing something over there, right? You know, um, any of these comments about how they need to get more aggressive, like people are expecting this to be them to what they're doing to be working. The only thing they're doing right now is starting to slow jobs and starting to create the recessionary fear. But what they're doing to slow down inflation is obviously not working. And again, really, really hard to blame this all on Putin. I mean, if you look over here, there's nothing. Oh, here you go. Biden says, oh, here you go. Yeah. Hey, the CPI is out of date because gas prices have fallen. You know what, Mr. Biden? And again, if you like him, I apologize. Idiot. You know why? You know why he's an idiot? Because of this one right here. It's out of date, but this excludes food and energy. Hello. This missed by point two. This missed by point two on a lower percentage. It's even more. Excuse me, idiot. Right? Idiot. And that's the only thing you can say about him. If you like him, sorry, log off the channel. I don't care. This is the dumbest thing ever. It's out of date because gas prices have fallen. Yeah, well, guess what? The one that you guys are patting yourself on the back is this. And again, acceleration, not deceleration. So, yeah. I can't. I've like had it with them. Yep. Excluding food and energy, acceleration. So, yep. Oh, so yeah. So there's your trade on that one. Um, So yesterday we talked about two different contracts. Again, this one survived, right? We talked about again how we were in a position. We were seeing the retracement. We were seeing the push. As you can see, there was your knockout. That knockout survived and actually got blown out on the bottom side. And again, it magically hit right off the profit target that we said. Why am I getting triggered? Because the level, Ernest, because whenever my level, whenever the level of stupidity goes to like the next level, I just can't believe any like. I get it. People didn't like Trump, but how dumb can one person be? And how does a person at that level of dumbness? One, again, Trump got yelled at for making comments on Twitter. Why is he being allowed to make any why is he being allowed to talk? like like when he was running with Obama, he wasn't allowed to talk, right? Because every time he went somewhere and he would basically say everything that Obama said but the opposite of it, right? Why is he being allowed to talk? Right? And again, it's this is that did I have peaches or green jello this morning, right? Right? It's just the level of stupidity and the fact that people are like, "Oh, this is great. We need to I'm worried about January 6th." I'm not worried about January 6th anymore. January 6th is over in the past, right? We know there's major problems with it. Again, we're heading to hell in a handbasket right now, and he's making comments about it's out of date. Guys, don't worry about it. What do you mean? Don't worry about it. Here's excluding food and energy. It's accelerating. You've already raised interest rates how many times? I I I, I don't like. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. But anyway, If you guys were looking for these yesterday, again, we talked about two levels. Again, that first one, it maintained for a while. It was like $12 worth of risk. There was only $75 to make on it because it was one of the smaller ones, one of the smaller contracts. And again, it busted out the bottom. So again, nice little trade from yesterday. The second level, again, the 50 did kind of act as a bounce point and come lower. But really, what happened is this one really kind of took off with, again, 3 o'clock is right here. Europeans just did nothing but prepare, and then again, it got hammered back down. So hopefully, you guys are able to grab that one. Right now, I'm going to remove fibs from it. It's close enough to the 78.6. We don't need the fibs in there anymore. Um, to get a clean view of this one, I mean, I guess we could actually run fibs the other direction and talk about where retracements are coming to. Um, actually, I'm not even concerned about it. We got the one at the 50, but the 50 is not really, I mean, it got sliced through, no big deal. And there's nothing at the 61.8. There is something at 78.6, but I wouldn't say that that's a great level. That was the profit target, and that's what we cranked and hit. Um, yeah, we'll probably learn in November. Hey, Matthew, I agree 100% with you. Yeah, like I said, they've been saying folks have been voting for with their wallets for a while, and they do. Like a month or 2 months ago, they talked about that. Um, again, gas is one of the things that obviously matter a lot, and people are like, "Oh, I'm not paying as much from the pump. That's not bad." But when we start seeing housing thing, I mean, because again, if they raise more interest rates for housing, like we start seeing people lose their jobs going into recession, and then again, housing being unaffordable, it's the same scenario. It doesn't matter that gas prices are, a little bit cheaper. But again, cheaper versus what? I mean, if you're a Republican, all you got to say is, "Hey, listen, when our guy was in, it was 225. This guy's in, it's cheap now at 450." Right? But yeah, I agree 100% with you, Matthew. So yeah, definitely. It's and like I said, people are triggered about all the Supreme Court stuff, and it's like, well, listen, don't be pissed at the Supreme Court. How did the people in the Supreme Court get there? Right? Where did this all come from in the first piece? You know, it was legislation that got kind of forced through in the last midterm election, right? That's where all this started from. That's how you got the senators in there. So you can't be mad that people are doing things now when you put them there. Like you can't blame anybody else but yourself. Um, and again, do I agree with them or disagree with them? I'm not going to get into that, but you got to look at the root cause. Like, what caused this? How do you prevent that? How do you fix that? And their answer of like, well, if there's 9 now, we'll just go to 13. We'll go to 11. We'll just make enough until we can take over. No, it's not the right way to do it. And both sides of the aisle agree that that's not the right way to handle it. But it's like, hey, if we're losing, just add more numbers until we can win. It's like, yeah, that's kind of like how you gerrymander elections, right? But you don't like that. So, same thing. Anyway, I would say right now that this 93.54 is a level that again, it's the next clean level up top for the Aussie. Again, down here 91.94, we got front run last time. I think that's really kind of what we're looking for, top and bottom wise. There is a small level right here, and again, for that Aussie news tonight, it is a level that again was our profit target. It was tested. It is now confirmed. If you're looking for something to potentially get long for, if it pushes back down, I think this is a decent level for news tonight. Remember, when I say news, what news? Um, right here, employment change, unemployment rate. Again, those are big data points. It's 9:30 p.m. tonight, so there's plenty of time for it to move. In fact, based off of this drop, we only need to have it drop down about another 60 pips. Not that far, right? 60 pips in what? 11 hours? Absolutely can do that. And again, that would be a takeoff point with positive news, gives Aussie a push. And again, with the yen, you don't need to worry about too much with the yen late night. It'll be more Aussie focused. Again, yen being weak, we'll go from there. Yeah, that would be awful. Yeah, Matthew, it's kind of my thing. It's like, how do you rig the game until you can't lose? And eventually, you know, it's 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 one of those things. Like I'm a weird person. Like I agree with kind of both sides of the aisle with things. Um, but for me, at the end of the day, it's like if you don't like an opinion, don't try to change. Like it's a whole thing. You know, oh, he's a fraud. No, he's just smart. He understands how business works. He understands how bankruptcy works, right? He didn't pay taxes. Great. Warren Buffett said, I don't pay enough taxes either, right? My secretary is paying less of a percentage than I am. It's not new, right? Business people understand how to use, I mean, the tax code is so difficult to understand, right? So fix it. Instead of creating more loopholes, go to something that you can't go around. Like Nancy's husband, they all do it, right? They all know how to get around the taxes. So it's great to be like, hey, listen, he's not paying enough taxes. So fix the code. right? The code's insane. Rich people have been saying for years, like, do I think you need to raise taxes on them? No, it's kind of like, hey, listen, equality. I believe in equality. I absolutely 100% believe in equality. But why should a rich person? I mean, technically, if we all pay the same percentage in our taxes, rich people are paying more, right? If people want to buy $500,000 cars, put a percentage on the purchase. If I buy a $25,000 car, I will pay less taxes as a number amount than the person that buys a $500,000 car. That's how you tax the rich, right? Because again, you let people that want to spend really, 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 really high prices for things, let them pay more for it. But you don't put a higher percentage on them because, again, we're all the same people, right? Like, you can't, like, we were built on capitalism. You can't, like, yeah, they're not covering their share. Really? Because ask that rich person, how much, like, you see a guy that makes $2 million and you see a guy that makes $50,000. You're like, he should pay more in taxes. He does pay more in taxes. Look at his tax bill, right? There's a tiered system. He does pay more in taxes already. But why should he carry a greater, like, why is his responsibility back to the rest of the country higher than somebody else's responsibility? Like, it's the same thing. That's like looking at two soldiers and it's like, well, you know what? You're more muscular than that guy, so you should be the meat shield in the front. Like, no, that's not how it works, right? Equality, you know? Like, make it equal across the board. Everybody should have. It doesn't matter for what it is. If you're paying for money or your taxes, for a position for a job, everybody should have an equal opportunity out there, right? Nobody should have any special treatment put on them, right? It should be equal opportunity. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your gender is. I don't even care if you're in between and you don't have a gender. Everybody should be equal, right? That's what it is. So yeah. Um, the more and more taxes, right? Yeah, the tax code's insane. I have a friend that he's in that realm, and he's like, he goes, they could solve it in like one easy thing. Just do like a fair tax thing. So yeah, insane, insane, insane. Anyway, euro dollar. So euro dollar, I think, is an amazing battleground right now, and we've been bouncing back and forth. And again, very, very easy. They literally drove it up at 8 o'clock today. They literally spiked it in there. They were screaming for the short today, and again, once the news came out, it dropped about 55 pips. Obviously, there was so much volatility cranked into that one. That one's really, really hard to get in. Parity is obviously a big deal, and again, we already knew that 100 was going to be some buyers, and there was buyers stepping in. I do feel, particularly with the economics reporting, as we start to hear the headlines, and we are going to see headlines and not buy headlines like, wait a second, what? They did a whole percentage point? Wow. Wow. Hey, Melissa, I know you can hear me. Canada did 1%. Yeah, her poor friend. Her poor friend was like sweating at 0.75, but one. Wow, 100 basis point rise for Canada. Woo! Canada's off to the races. So yeah, seeing that number, it's gonna get crazy. So anyway, there should be some movement in the dollar CAD now. Yeah, look at that. This was at like nothing, and now magically it's 60. So yeah, I don't think anybody expected that one. Um, anyway, I think the euro dollar is a great rate to play. I think it continues to deteriorate, goes lower. Again, I think the euro, again, they have enough problems there with multiple countries out there and recessionary fears as well. And obviously, the Ukraine war is not over, although people are so tired of, I think, the Ukrainian war, and Zelensky's actually starting to change his tone. So I think it's starting to calm down a little bit. Um, we'll see what comes of that one. My overall opinion on this one is yes, go short. Again, wait for some of the drama today. I think anytime there's going to be a headline, once we start getting that, again, I'm actually okay with this one going up today. I would not be surprised if it goes up because remember, with PPI tomorrow, that's another opportunity to go short. My opinion is, I think you need to look for an opportunity to get short, whether you use Nadex or another product or kind of keep your stop loss really, really close. I think this is a great opportunity. And again, the comment about how, this is outdated, it doesn't matter. Again, if you look at the core number, those numbers aren't included. So, yeah. Uh, Memes all around. So, euro pound. So, euro pound is continuing to rise back up again. Again, we talked about the short here from yesterday, obviously over. We had talked about that. It was in and went to full fruition. It went all the way down again, really started the base in this level. Actually did do a Harry Potter. We talked about breaking 84.34, and it did. Literally, it dropped, it based, it pulled back up again. 130 this morning, boom, nice push back to the downside in this one. That was about 34 pips, right? So, The risk level in that one was only about 8, so you're beyond a 1 to 3 to the downside. So again, completed Harry Potter. I guess I can draw it on there for people that are. Actually, it would be here, and it would go here, and go all the way down, and 1 to 3 is right there. So there's your Harry Potter from yesterday set up, and I believe this one actually popped up on the alert, right? Yeah, it's got dotted lines. This is the one we talked about. It's over here. One of them was triggered. Um, Anyway, that was one of the ones we talked about yesterday. All it's doing is retracing back up again. I would actually look at this level again. 85 is going to be big, but I think we got to look at this. The 84.80. I think that's probably a decent point to roll over. Like I said, the UK is kind of going in the recession. They're a little bit farther ahead than us, but again, there's nothing really positive news wise. If you're looking over here, I mean, the parity news, yeah, and again, we're seeing a retracement of the parity news. Um, let's see. Let me see. When are we getting some pound news? Let's do none pound. And again, GDP was great for the pound, and yet you're seeing a reverse, which is fine. So yeah, it looks like we're Wednesday next week. Look at this. I mean, actually, all their data minus the trade bound, the good trade goods was actually not horrible. Credit conditions, credit conditions ain't really gonna move it. Yeah, I'd be looking for something. Like I said, wait for this to rally up. This is an area. It's been hit twice. I mean, technically, it's a level. It's there. It's backstop. But both times it's been there. It's had a decent push through, and there actually may even be a smaller run coming in, like in this level right here. Um, it's there. Yeah, Matthew. Yeah, we'll just print more money. It's okay. Yeah, it's all right. We're just gonna tax more rich people. It's all right. Just tax them until there is no such thing as a rich person, and then who are you gonna tax? Yeah, and then the deficit, right? Our deficit spending is down this year. It's like, yeah, because last year with COVID, you guys were sending money out left and right. So of course it was higher. So you can't really brag that like we did a great job this year because it's still higher than what the norm is supposed to be, right? But the answer to everything is not just print more money. That is actually by printing more money. That's actually inflation, which is what we have running away right now. So yeah. Anyway, euro pound, I look for 84.80. I think that's a probably decent level. Euro yen. As you can see on this one, we came up 3 o'clock this morning. It triggered and then pushed all the way back down. Actually, I think that was definitely one of the ones over here. Yeah, this 50% front runner one. We talked about it right here. And again, I don't know. I didn't check on Discord. Did that come through on Discord? I know they were having problems with it. It does not look like it came through. Anyway, it triggered. It came through. It hit and went all the way back down again. So again, that was another one of those kind of front runs we were talking about yesterday. Yeah, it sent the alert, but it looks like it didn't make over Discord on that one. I know they were having problems with the server. Unfortunately, the guy that built the bot for sending from here to Discord, he's actually in the Ukraine. And again, because of the U.S. weaponizing the dollar, he was unable to make payments because they would not. Actually, he's not in the Ukraine. He's actually in Russia. He was unable to make payments to the the website hoster of the bot. Um, it's like the dude's like, this is ridiculous. Really, I'm not able to pay because I'm trying to pay with Russian money because I live in Russia. So I thought he had a I don't know. Long story short, he was getting some external funding to help pay for this because people liked it so much, but that may be why things are not popping through just for some of the alerts. But yeah, so anyway, there was your alert trigger on this one. Very quick, all the way back down again, and now we're playing with that same level. As you can see, choppy, and again, this is the yen. I'm not, this is basically, this is all yen right now, kind of coming into this one. Let's see, we'll remove it for now. Actually, I'll leave it there, but so I can picture it. Where do we reverse? Probably. I hate to say it, but I mean, there are levels up here, and it is kind of tested right around the 78. You guys know I'm not a big 78.6 person, but there is something there, and it is kind of tested. So I would say, looking for a potential reversal in this one would probably be 138.64 or 66. It's all right. I don't love it, but it is a level that we got to respect from the past. We have seen movement there. We do have a confirmation off of it. And again, because there is a 78.6 there, you will have some FIB people that like that level. Again, I'm not those people. But people will like, oh, look, 786. It's another one of the fib numbers. I like it. And again, it does coincide with the level here. So beyond that, we know we got something a little bit higher, but again, quite a large zone for what we're looking for. So that'd be kind of my reversal point. Look for it to come up and then, again, potentially maybe this afternoon turn and roll back to the downside. As far as buys go, I mean, yeah, we can mark the bottom here if we want. It's the bottom of this kind of trend area. Again, it is tested twice, although barely pierced at all. I think really, if you want to bracket this one off and go top and bottom, I think we really start looking at shorts up at 138.67 and look at longs at 137.14 on the downside. Pound dollar. Look at that. This is at 8 o'clock. How did they know? And again, super close. We were talking about two opportunities here to get short. There's the European one. And again, pushed it back down again into this old level. Again, kind of pushed it back up. And we said if we get up here, it'd be great. Again, it didn't make it, but it was basing at 8 o'clock. It was literally screaming short, 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 right ahead of time. And again, this was a drop of 107 pips then instantaneously. So exactly what we talked about. It would have been nice if it was up here. And again, it was close enough proximity. Once it started to base and kind of hold up top, it was. And again, you could have said, well, wait a second. There's a zone right there, Brian. Look, there's the candle. You could have said it was there. Yeah. I mean, we're looking to get short before the news, and we told you guys that yesterday. And again, 107 pips to the downside. It's over now. Look for a little bit of retracing back again. Um, but I think this one is probably going to find some legs lower, particularly with, again, the UK kind of officially being in a recession. Um, the UK kind of officially being in a recession. They're kind of in a worse place. Yeah, we're going there too, but man, we are going to jack the interest rates from now till then. So, again, seeing some more dollar strength come in. Now, pound yen. Pound yen, we talked about this, and again, if you look yesterday, we did kind of roll off of that level. It was all right. I mean, it kind of chopped back and forth, pushed down, and then again, the news actually drove it right through. So it was considered pound positive news, and it's true. It was actually pound positive news. It used and kind of based off this old level, but we're going to remove all this now. And again, I love that my basing was spot on for that one. We're gonna remove this now. This old level has ended up with being the top. We're just gonna use this one, the 164. I'd like to see, again, it looks a lot like the euro yen. If we can get a little bit more spike from the yen there, I think the 164.20 is a good rollover point. Um, we do have a confirmation of this yellow level now, and I'm going to say that that's probably a decent level to start using. We know it is supported by another level that is tested, so it's kind of a level on top of a level. But again, this one's barely touched and gone, and this one's barely touched and gone as well. And it's been our profit target twice. It is a third time. It is lower probability, but again, we do have another kind of support right below it as well, where again we're being supported by this zone here. So if we can get back down to that range, again, my opinion turns bullish again for this. I do feel that this is again probably likely to go higher with the yen, but again, I like the 164. I like kind of base here, and I like how it kind of got front run. So for me, I would say wait for this one to go up a little bit further and then go short. Um, something to do in there. Dollar CAD. So yeah, you want to talk about some craziness. There's your dollar CAD. Um, and again, yesterday we talked about this one that if you were taking kind of the more aggressive target, well, guess what? There's the aggressive target out. And if you didn't take it, if you took just the bigger one that we had drawn earlier in the week, guess what happened? At 8:30 today, it went up and triggered. And then when the CAD news came out, it went all the way down to the full profit target. So I don't care which one you looked at. And again, we talked about 129.48 yesterday being the target. Well, guess what? Um, it came down to 129.45. So 3 pips past where our profit target was. So it really doesn't matter which one you looked at. There was the drawing. And again, whether you got the entry yesterday or you didn't, we just said, hey, listen, this is still the same range. And actually, let's see, did that touch that one? Yeah. So either way, it doesn't matter. Whatever one you use there. We are calling for, a short. And like I said, did I know the CAD was going to do this? Nope. Did I assume that the dollar would get strength from it? Yep. So again, all it did was it drove it right into the zone. It turned, and then the surprise CAD news literally shot it right to our profit target. So again, CAD news is really out. My opinion on this one is I actually like this one to stay bullish. I'm sorry, stay bearish. The CAD has made the fundamental change, right? The dollar has not made the fundamental change yet. It's just the recipe for that change is coming to fruition. So I kind of like this one farther down, but as far as the analysis, I mean, again, go watch yesterday's session if you guys weren't on there. It was at noon. We were literally talking about this one, taking it and getting out right around here. But talking about how had you taken the big one we drew first or taken the smaller kind of closer proximity one, it doesn't matter which one you took. This was quite a nice game. 97 pips. So You could have grabbed the 100 pips depending on which one you took from the top or bottom. So again, trades out. Again, it's always hard when do the analysis when it literally just happened. But how's that for a profit target within 3 pips? And then again, the entry coming up the same level up top. So yeah, but overall, I like this one bearish. I think it deserves to be bearish as well. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss, we're looking for more of this. And again, this is one of those ones like we were waiting for a big spike up to the 78.6 for news. It literally from 12 o'clock yesterday. Actually, I guess from yesterday. Yeah, we're here. We never got the spike up. We were waiting for it. And what happened is the Europeans right here at 3 o'clock. There's a 3 o'clock candle. They said nope. They drove it down for news, and then the spike came in. So it's still spiked up, and that's what you're looking for. It just the Europeans drove it down to get it for a cheaper price. So it is what it is. Um, let's adjust this up top a little bit. We're gonna move this here. Um, it is interesting. I do kind of like that area right there that they kind of pulled in. I do kind of like that area. Um, there's a zone there. We can't really use it for a short. I wonder if we get a short out of that one. But would that pop? No, probably not. Hmm. Would have liked to taken that short all the way down. But again, base here, pop, base, pop again. I don't think we can get that short cleanly. There's couple too many areas in here. Kind of like right in here. Kind of looking at that right there, where there's the pop and then it popped off of it. So, hmm. If you're really interested in playing this one, I would say probably the same 68 level again. I mean, again, it's already hit it once and pushed back down again, but um, I just don't think we're gonna get enough out of that one. It's only 52 pips. I just don't. Yeah, I feel like you're not gonna get more on that one. Yeah, neuro. Yeah, neuro. And it's funny you mentioned that. Like the large corporation, anything, every document's like 100 plus pages, right? It's kind of the same thing. Like you talk about why things switched and why there are people in positions now, right? Um, you look at the last midterm election that had a historic switch. What happened? Well, they pushed Obamacare through, which was like 14,000 pages or something like that. Like the night before they like the vote, so people couldn't. It was impossible to go through all the code to force it in, and you saw an absolutely enormous like you know the change I think was like monumental. Like it was the biggest change ever we've had. You know, and again, that's what happened when you build a document with 14,000 pages in it that nobody can read. It pisses some people off, right? It's like, let's see, let's do a pandemic spending, right? All right, listen, we need to come up with a bill that we're gonna, give economic stimulus to every household. And again, it's like a child care credit, right? We're gonna send it to everybody, right? Great. And then when you have half the bill that does climate change, roads, and everything else, like, what the heck does that have to do with the point of this bill? Why is there all this extra stuff, right? Like some of the bills that are proposed, like both sides of that are like, I'm scratching my head. This is we're basically voting right now just to send a check to every household with a family because, again, childcare, COVID shut everything down, and then what is it in there? Toll roads and bridges and all this other stuff. It's like what? Like, come on, stay focused, guys. Stay focused, right? None of this is we have to sign it before you hear from them. Yeah, but it's the other side of the aisle's fault, Neuro. You hate people. No, we don't hate people, but it's just kind of it's crazy. All right, so let's take this guy out. Again, am I surprised that there was an 830 spike straight up in the air? No. I don't think anybody was surprised. The Europeans weren't able to drive this one down as much. And again, if you look at the kind of what the Europeans did, here's the 3 o'clock window. They drove it down a little bit, but again, it wasn't the same push. And again, the dollar yen is always very, very hard to play with any type of interest rate decisions because it does affect the overall stock market, which again is, you have that proxy filtering in with the yen. So it is much harder to play than any like the Aussie dollar, euro dollar, pound dollar. Am I surprised that it popped? No, no. And I'm good with that one. Again, this one had that kind of piece and it was basing, but eventually, again, you made it to, if you took an entry on this one, you would take a loss. Totally cool with that. Again, you're not going to be right on 100% of your trades, but I will say it still does have the same type of racetrack involved with it. Actually, yesterday at noon, let's see. Yeah, yesterday at noon, we talked about that this was kind of an entry. It just kind of ground forward. So, again, Am I right in 100% of my analysis? No. Is anybody? No. Did the other 9 trades we set up yesterday work? Yes. So, again, we were wrong on this one. It came up, it never got enough movement, and again, it just ended up running away because of obviously the news. So, what do we do with it now? We're going to erase the actual trade on it and the details on it. Um, I still think the level is decent to talk about. I'm probably going to adjust this one, and we're going to move it around and kind of talk here. Like I said, this has a pretty decent run to the downside. So I'd like to see what happens next time we touch. I'm going to delete the alert on it, and really kind of what I'm looking for right now is probably a bit more of a retracement. Again, it did go up, and now it's kind of whipsawing back and forth. It is that 10:30 time frame. This is where we will see it. I would like to see a little bit more again. And again, I mean this in the most nicest way. Let's do all again. I mean this in the nicest way. I want to see a comment that is. I mean, again, this is the president of the United States, and it's considered yellow. So yeah, I would like to see something coming out of Pal or Bullard or just somebody mentioning something. It could be a couple different presidents, Fed presidents. I'm okay with that. I think this one has the ability to roll back down based off of the chop into this level. And again, do you short from this level? No, no. You expect it to kind of chop through. I do think that this one turns and retraces back down. I don't have a great level for it, unfortunately. Even on this level, I mean, again, if you're looking for a red, green, red confirmation, you could take it. I mean, here's a red. This is a good green. That's check one, check two. As soon as this one closed here, again, that's not bad, but as soon as it printed green, it doesn't count. Once it breaks higher, it absolutely doesn't count. So we have the red component. We still need the green and the other red. If we can get those two, I think this one continues to push to the downside. I think it does retrace, so it's just not quite there yet. Looking at oil. So oil, was it affected by the news? Not so much. I mean, we did take a bounce off that bottom level. We can run fibs all the way down now if we need to. Again, we had talked about this level before down here at that 95. Actually breaking below 95 and the next level at 94-ish level. We've hit it. Again, this zone turned out to not be much in there. Right now, we kind of need this one to move just a little bit farther down, and here's why. If you look at this 23.6 level, when this comes down, you can see that there is definitely something going on right here, right? We have all these ascending candles. It's lower, 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 lower. And when we kind of box that one off and move it across, you can see that, hey, listen, price had a hard time with that. And it kind of gets over here with the 23.6. Again, this is nothing that anybody out there is doing. This is the fear of recession going down in the future, starting to be like, hey, listen, we're going that direction. Again, remember, the futures market is worried about what's going to happen in the future, not what's happening right now, not what gas prices are right now. What is the demand going to look like in the future versus now? If we're at an unemployment rate of 3.8 right now, and by the end of the year they want to take it to a 4.6, that is lower demand in the future. Okay. Them raising interest rates is going to close some companies down, which is going to send, basically have companies cut people. Again, this is all demand. They're trying to get ahead of it before it gets there. So, you know, I would say that I'm still more bearish oil. I'm totally okay with that one. And like I said, this is purely interest rates right now. This has nothing to do with anything on a fundamental basis. I believe that this is purely right now speculation of a non-soft landing recession is what this is. Um, Natural gas, on the other hand, natural gas is again, it did everything it was supposed to do. It came down, it literally grabbed the gap. It hasn't broken them. We were talking about if we could base down here and break the gap, we'd be good. It didn't. It actually went back up and is actually retracing again, a full parabolic retracing back up again. So, and actually, if you carry this across, you can see it came back down and moved. So, just to keep it clean, let's talk about some profit taking here. And again, here was your bounce here. This one we still don't need. I'm gonna take these two out. Um, yeah, and again, there's a lot of factors involved with this one. Pipelines being shut down, not opening pipelines, and all that kind of stuff. I really feel that natural gas. Let's see. That's our next big sell zone. We've talked about this before. It did chop there, but I bet you we could go through that again. I want to see what happens when we get to 679. I'm sorry, 669. It's definitely an area where we should see some sellers come in. Again, Russia's shutting down one of the pipelines. I think what happens is if Russia opens the pipeline, I think then again it has the ability to go short from it. Um, I think any comments about keeping it closed longer than what we need. Again, if that pipeline stays closed during repair and we can get to the stage where we're like, hey, listen, we're trying to fill winter gas. I really feel that that winter storage, right? The winter gas storage, that's really what's going to drive this thing higher. Question is it going to open back up before that? If it doesn't, again, I think we can be in a crazy situation. Um, here you go. Natural gas rises as dangerous heat seen over much of the world. Yeah, dangerous heat. Um, yeah. So again, today can we see profit taking? Yes. I don't know if I'm into selling it there though. I think 697 is a better sell area. Um, be cautious with this one. There's a lot of headlines involved with this right now. Gold. Okay. Am I surprised that gold spiked all the way down and then spiked all the way back up? Nope, not at all. Why? The initial response is, holy crap, they're going to raise it 0.75 now. Boom, straight down. And then the realization is, well, they haven't raised it yet, but this is more inflation than we thought, which brings gold right back up again. And I said that yesterday that I expected this one was going to have two reactions. And we talked about it going down. It did. I thought we would actually get a little bit more base down here, and we may potentially push. How much did this one move? It was a decent move, right? Yeah, $22. Again, 100%. This is exactly what it should have done. Anybody that's really, really confused by gold, again, this is the response of "Holy crap, they're going to raise it," and then the response is, "Well, wait a second, they're not. They haven't raised it yet, but this is more inflation." So it's kind of like the one-two punch. So this is exactly how you play gold today. And I believe I actually kind of walked you guys through this one yesterday as well. So this one is out. That trade is done. Um, actually, you know what? Let's pull this down. Where is that 23 at? Uh, what does that look like on a bigger spectrum? Yeah, I'm okay with that right now. Hmm. Now the question is, do we see a little bit of retracement though? Let's see. Yeah, there could be a case made for a reversal right here. Hmm. There could be a case for taking this one short at 17.29. And the reason why I say that is because, again, if you're looking from like the last, I mean, again, and remember, this is how Fib guys go, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to draw one from here, and then I'm going to draw one from here. I'm going to draw one from here. And eventually they'll get enough lines on there. But if you do take this last spike, and again, is it trending in here? No. Really, the downtrend, the channeling started. And again, when I say channeling, if you're not able to see the channel, if you kind of take some points on the top and you're able to take these points on the bottom, you can see the channel started. If I did the same thing here, it's more of a sideways movement. It's not really there's not really a trend in there, right? Right? It's more just going sideways. Once the trend restarts, they'll do a draw from there. So I would say if you're using that draw, it is a 50% retracement level, which people are going to look at. And it's an area where, again, we've seen, you know, you can see it there. There's the one top base, right? It popped up at base and then it pushed down. And again, I was using the whole thing. I could do it from there. Either way, it doesn't necessarily matter whether I use it off of this test here, or this test here. 17, 29, 27 is an area where there are probably going to be some sellers coming in. Question is it enough to turn and flip it? That's something, you know, what is it? What did Ernest say? You guys act like you don't know what policy is all about. Honestly, Ernest, I start to question if I actually know anymore. Like you feel like you have an idea, and then you just scratch your brain and you're like, I don't even know. Like, what are they like? What is the end game, right? Like I've said this before. My wish, if I could have anything right now, is I would love to have two good candidates that it's like, you know what? The one side of the aisle is going to vote for their candidate, and the other side of the aisle is going to vote for theirs, and then the independents got to figure out which one's better. Versus now, it's one side saying, "I hate that guy, I'm voting against him," and the other side says, "I hate that guy, I'm voting against that person." Right? Like, could we just get two smart, well-educated people that everybody likes? Like, make it hard for both sides. Like, you know what? That guy is a good guy. I got nothing bad to say about him. I don't agree with what he says, but he's not a bad guy, right? It's not about running the country, about power. Yeah, I get it. But the thing is, it's kind of like what power, right? Like, I don't know. It's like, when you're the, leading the village, when you're the village idiot, it's like kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe this is what it is now. It's cancel culture, right? Right? But how cool would it be to have two candidates where both sides are like, yeah, that dude's not a bad dude. He doesn't believe in some of the things that I believe in, but he's not a bad person, right? Versus now, the last three elections in a row, it's like, oh, heck no. It's more voting against than voting for, right? And again, I'm so lost. This is out of date. It doesn't matter. I, Dude, it doesn't include that. It literally says right here, it does not include energy, does not include gas. And it's not out of date. It's getting worse. You know? Like give us somebody good. Um, Silver. Look at the chop in silver, right? And we talked about it, right? If silver goes higher short, there's your 730. Again, your 830 came in straight down. But it really hasn't left this level. Again, we're still flirting between these two. I mentioned it yesterday. These are both obviously, this is from a 4 hour zone. These are high time frame zones. We're waiting for the break. We still don't have it. That Harry Potter still not triggered, initiated. It's still not there. We'll pull it off so people are not, getting confused about it. But, there's kind of our more recent basing. Again, it hasn't been triggered. But we're looking this one to go, and it's a break of 1870 right now, looking for 1840, 30 cents to the downside. Um, Part of the reason why silver is stabilized, by the way, in case you guys are wondering, part of the reason why is because again, the data coming out of China is looking good. And again, when China does well economy wise, they start to expand. And again, silver is used as an industrial metal for that. So it's kind of one of those things. It's getting some help because again, all the numbers looking great out of China. It's really hard to look at. And again, their exports, their exports getting higher, 17%. Awesome for them, right? That's what you want right now. Like you would love for your exports. Like your country sucks. You want your currency cheap, so people are buying more from your country, right? Right now, we're about to go into recession where you're jacking the cost of the dollar. And nobody's gonna. It's great that the U.S. is the factory of the world, right? Or people believe that. No one's going to buy anything from us because it's going to be so expensive to buy it, right? If you can get it cheap from China, you're not buying it from the United States for three times the price, right? Yeah, it's called common sense. I'm not even going to say supply and demand. It's called common sense. So yeah, so silver again finding support. Good news for China, also good for silver. Um, Got some reversals here. Twitter, Apple, yep, got it. Tesla. Look at the bounce that Tesla took off that level. Man, right to the top. Um, let's see. VIX, obviously the VIX spikes. It was a big thing. Um, yeah, not surprised by any of this. Again, there's your 830. I mean, just straight down, as it should be. And again, we always like to kind of analyze whether or not we trade any of these. We didn't hit that. I'm gonna pull all these off just to clear it. This is there. That's there. We talked about it breaking through 308, 309, and again, it just blew through it. Not here. You can pull some of these. There's our target. We talked about a target of this one. Again, that Harry Potter blown. That blown. Um, let's get some downside targets here. Um, oh, look at that. Magically, it blew right off the target. Let's pull this off now. Question: would we have traded this one at the open? The answer is no. Not after a move like that in price. Would not have been pulling back to a level. Again, this one was kind of an easy brainer. Again, watching it kind of go up and straight up at 815. You knew that the data was going to be big. Whether or not you were able to get an entry off of any of the zones in here, you absolutely could have. You could have drawn this one and said, "Hey, listen, there's a decent base here," and then we had a nice push, right? This one accelerated at 1 o'clock when traders came back. There's your spike right into it before noon. So problem is everything that premium was jacked on all these things. Is it justified down? Yes. Um, is it retracing a little bit? Sure. Do I think it can go green today? Not really. Again, it's not an actual fundamental change, but it will be a fundamental change right now. I'd really like to see where it pulls back to. And again, this actually may even be from this move like a 23. Yeah. So you're seeing it's kind of hitting the 23. It's like, oh, we're trying. Um, I'd look at a couple of these levels. I think would I be looking for indice wise? And again, if you're still in them for today, again, have fun. I would be preparing for tomorrow morning. Um, Tomorrow with this PPI number, people are going to be looking at it and really this unemployment because, like I said, if the PPI numbers are green, right? If they're jacked and the unemployment is higher than expected, that's kind of a really bad thing for the indices. So I'd like to see them rally back again just so we can short them again tomorrow. Um, Status, yeah. Well, Caesar was a little bit kind of off the. I mean, Ernest, according to your analogy, Miss Harris is going to stab Biden in the back. That's kind of what that or AOC or Nancy. I mean, one of those three. That's basically what you're saying. Um, I mean, I feel like Biden loses at either three ways, right? But yes, that's kind of it's all any three of those scenarios. So, but yeah, so again for ES, look for this one to rally up today. Again, I would be looking for this to turn and roll back in the down direction. NQ looks exactly the same. Would we have traded this at the open? This 9:30 window over here, not really. And again, is it retracing? Sure. I would look for it to do the same thing. Can again, a lot of these are those small numbers that we're looking at. Yesterday, again, 9:30, we pulled down at the 50. This one we did not get to, and again, I don't know if we'll get that far up. We touched a 78, so I don't care about this side anymore. Let's run this one now from top to bottom and see where levels are. Interestingly enough, I mean, there is a zone here. I don't love the zone. The candle formation is a little bit weird, but we did hit it, and that's a 61.8. So again, if we manage to get ourselves back up to the 11,945.25 tomorrow, could be a decent short. That's what politics is all in the back, stabbing each other. Hey, politics used to be about kissing babies, right? And then that got weird, and now it's just about stabbing each other in the back. I don't know which one's worse, right? But I'm going to say 11,945.25, I think, is a decent level. And again, it would be a full parabolic retracement. If you are going to hold this one long, your profit target needs to be right here in this level. Let's see, where is that? Actually, it would be a sell, and there, 11,827. And again, not really a bad level. Like I said, nothing's really changed much. And you may wonder too, like, why is NQ not as bad as ES and YM? Very simple reason. Okay, NQ is more services based than it is product based. So again, that's why during COVID, ES and YM they just got destroyed because people weren't doing they weren't doing great. But NQ got it the worst of everybody. Why? Because services was really disappearing, right? Services tends to do well, and again, it was technology based. It's doing better right now because again, as people start, not working or working from home, things like that. Services again are one of those things that, yeah, people will use them. People will use their computers. People will remote travel. Um, Again, it's more services based versus actual inflation. Ones and zeros don't get more expensive, right? The cost of grain to make your bread does get more expensive. So it's a little bit more insulated. It's not quite as bad. Now, YM you can see is not really retracing. It is just trying to find buyers and continue to push lower. I actually will not be surprised, and it's funny that one it hit right there. Yeah, look at this. This one looks like it got some help from the 23.6. Did this one touch? No, it got so close. So close, but kind of the same thinking. Yeah, looking to go short. And again, obviously the worst of everything, the inflation is, kind of what we're talking about. It's the, goods and services. So yeah, it's more the goods aspect of it. 78.6 was hit from here, so let's pull that one. I don't know. Let's run this from top to bottom. We already know kind of where it is for the day. Yeah, look at that. Came right back up to 23. Let's see. We know we got targets lower. Let's talk about a target somewhere probably in here. Let's see where this is at. Have we touched this one yet? No, not yet. So I'd say these are probably our two targets to the downside. One sitting down here at 30,376, and number two sitting at 30,423. Again, seeing a little bit of reversal. Kind of my same thinking on the ES. I'm actually okay with this. I wouldn't be surprised if we do kind of, again, it's not really turning a level. Again, the data right now is just hypothetical. If we see a rally up, I'm kind of looking for a base because, again, I think for PPI, I think you got to get short. Again, look for the European session to see if they continue to drive it higher and then take the short. I think it's there. I think we take it. I don't know if it's going to be as big of a move, but I think it's setting up for the same way. At this point, again, a lot of people are like, but this is still great trading. I mean, with all this movement, again, we would look for a reversal, but the data was huge. The data was huge. And again, overall, not to beat a dead horse, it is sad that the president of the most powerful nation in the world, when he speaks about this data, it is considered a zero movement. I mean, it's not gray. I guess that's better than nothing. It's a yellow. Like, it's bad enough that Yellen is now considered a yellow, but now the president of the United States is considered a yellow that nobody cares about. That's sad. And again, doesn't matter whose name is there. The fact that it's a zero market mover when somebody can make a statement like this just shows you, how little confidence they have in anything he says. Okay. And again, do I think that's right? No. Should should this be a higher color? My opinion is yes. Again, he is still the. I can't say that no, he's not my president. He is. I mean, he is the legitimate legal president. Yes. When he makes a comment, it should be more market moving. It is unfortunate and sad that he can make a comment about something as large as CPI being the number one thing that's on consumers' mind that is considered a yellow right now. So again, I think we see this go up again. The markets are going to watch themselves, look for the manipulation early, and then again, my opinion right now, we'll see what it looks like. What the Europeans do, we get our pom poms on, we cheer for this to go higher. We see that the Europeans confirm that and go higher, and then we take the short again tomorrow. Okay. Now Russell, again, Russell's trying to come back right now, and again, it's because nothing's been said. Again, it is reversing, huge push to the downside, but nothing's really changed. So it's kind of just like gold, right? Huge response down as it should be, but then it's like, well, wait a second, nothing's changed yet. We're still good, right? People are still buying, great, and it's just retracing. So, again, this trade is out. We've tagged that one. We don't need this level now. This is another level we can use, although it's kind of been pushed already. I don't know. We could probably get all the way up. Russell might get up there. NQ is now in the green finally. And again, kind of the bottom was that 10:30 window. I don't love that one. I don't necessarily love this one, although there's a little bit of a gap up there, but I'd like to see how far these can rally up. Um, hmm. I don't like a lot of the sell zones for the Russell as much. Um, do I think? Do I think? Do I think we have a similar drop tomorrow? Yeah, but I would like to see where this one goes up and find some buyers. I'm sorry, sellers. Are we at a 50 right now? Let me see. Yeah, we are. Trying to see if we are at a 50 there. We pop right above the 50. So the question is, so 9:30 is here. Here, right? We could say, that, hey, listen, from 10 o'clock on, we surge forward. Is the reversal going to be from this? Maybe. We may get some help in this range. There may be some help in here. So we'll see. Yeah, so I mean, if you're looking for it, and again, all for today, would you take it a 9:30 open? No. Just with the, I mean, again, wasn't it more of a buying area? Sure, it was, but after that move in price with the data, fundamental, no. But, again, when there's as big a data point as CPI, 30 or an hour before the open, we're not looking to trade the 15-minute opens because it's going to be just dealing with the reversal of whatever the news was. So again, not fair, not a fair assessment for today. But again, if it turns and rolls from here, don't be surprised at all. Again, it is a 50% retracement, and the news it is actually very bad for the Russell. So we'll see. All right, that's it for the day. Bitcoin, look at this. Bitcoin just dropped. Look very similar to gold, although not the retracement through. Ethereum actually doing better, but same exact chart. And then Doji under 6 cents. Under 6 cents. Going to zero. And again, what did bonds do? Bonds had a nice rally up again. Yeah, bonds are looking at this and they're like, actually, bonds should start reversing a little bit. Although it looks like they're starting to roll. So let's do the drawing for today. We went a little bit late, but Ernest once again got me off my soapbox. It's always Ernest. And again, Matthew, nice to see you join us on YouTube and comment over there. I have a different chat that I have to look at over there to see it, but I appreciate you chiming in and love to get the comments in there from other people as well. All right, let's do the drawing today. So Debbie won yesterday, right? Debbie won in. Her and Eki were the only two in here. She snuck it in there. So Debbie going for 100 today. Everybody else is going for 50 because it is Wednesday. Even though we presented yesterday, I gave it to you on the 50 because God forbid I do a drawing on Tuesday and I don't give you your 50. I mean, that's grounds for revolt. So let's close it down. Let's see who the winner of today's drawing is. It is Will. Will coming in with one. Look at that. Will's taking it. Sorry, Debbie. You got the extra one yesterday, but Will got you today. You deviated from the plan, Debbie. If you'd have gone with one, again, chances are there. So let's go in. Will gets his 50. Will's very strategic when he uses his hacks. So, again, Will up there on Marina by about $1,000 now. So, yeah. So, going into tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow, PPI is also a big figure. And again, this is the change in price of finished goods and services sold by producers. So it's not necessarily like the consumer price index, but it's how much it costs them kind of to feed it in. It is expected to kind of be holding what it did, But remember, it's going to be coupled with the unemployment claims, and unemployment claims have been kind of creeping up lately, right? They've been missing it, going a little bit higher. As I said, I think this could be a recipe for disaster. With, again, if both these numbers are green and the unemployment goes to like 250, that could be a quite a rough day. Quite a rough day. Um, oh, here you go. I didn't even see this one. WTI from the API reported. Yeah, the builds. So yeah, we didn't even look at oil today. And again, oil doesn't show up on here anymore. I don't think, right? Yeah, they like removed. Oh no, they did crude oil. Oh yeah, look at this. So again, more supply, right? They expected a down draw in a 3.3, so we even had more there, and it looks like it. What did they say? It shrugged it off. Yeah, it just shrugged it off. Huge. Again, nobody cares about the supply right now. It's all about what the recession looks like. So have fun. All right, with that said, I'm out of here. I got to get running a little bit late. I got to go grab the baby from Melissa. So I will catch you guys tomorrow. Again, I promise I won't be as triggered as long as Ernest doesn't just keep feeding me the you know it's actually not Ernest. It's actually Neuro, but it's okay. It's why I love all you guys. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Take care, and thanks for joining today.